Man, what is up, YouTube? I am just dropping a video real quick just to get back on a comment real quick, right? And it hella confuses me, man. It hella confuses me because someone's like, if I feel like you're telling the truth, but you're putting in some lies into it. Like these stories cannot be truth, and I have to address this like 100%. And a lot of people can't believe these stories because they seem so crazy and outminded for the normal person, the normal minded person, right? And what people tend to forget is, you know, anyone can go to jail, anyone can get arrested, and a lot of people hold on to this idea that it's crazy when you get arrested that you're gonna get blasted with tattoos, which you can. Like, no joke, they hurt. I have the most horrible tattoo ever. I have it was crazy, crazy story, man. This Don't ever let someone tattoo. Like in prison, everyone wants a tattoo because it's a hustle and they can make money. But make sure you know what they're doing, man. I made that dumb mistake, and I got a horrible tattoo. And that thing hurt, man. This dude was digging in, and I got this horrible skull on my side. Like, looks like a fifth grader drew it. Not even, I mean, a fifth grader probably couldn't have done it. But yeah, a lot of people cannot fathom that this stuff is real, and that if you go to prison, have a lot of tattoos, you will never could break that revolving door. You have a judgmental like look that you're a convict. And what I say to that is you can, but anyone can go to jail, like I said before. And what people have to remember too is that when you're in prison, in jail, you're not with society's normal minded people. You're with actual crazy evil people. There is no depths to how evil some people can be. A lot of people like us cannot imagine to literally just look at someone, grab a pistol, hold it to their head, and say, "Give me your money or I'm going to shoot you." And what's crazy when you go into prison and jail, like a lot of people, that's how they live. They don't know how to function, cannot function and get a job. And you see that evil, you come across it, and it totally changes your perception and the paranoia. A lot of people that get out, they get this huge amount of paranoia, and that's because in there, man, there's shicey people. People are gonna try to get over on you, man, to the craziest things. Like the most popular thing I've seen is poker, right? And people actually that have been locked up for a long time, they'll group together to literally hatch onto one of their sheep. They're wolves, and they'll get a guy to play poker, let him win a couple rounds, and then just not smash him that way, but they'll have the game pinned against him to take all their money. And it's unbelievable, man. It's sad. It's crazy. And I just wanted to address that real quick. Anything that I say on here, it's going to be 100%. There's always been ups and downs when you go to prison, but when you start building a channel and you start having people come to your channel, it takes one person to expose you, come out with stuff, and I don't need all that, If I'm going to build something, I'm going to be 100. I've had a lot of ups, a lot of downs, and going into prison and jail, and I've seen a lot of crazy stuff that changed my whole perception on everything, man. And, but yeah, I just want to address that. And real quick, I'm going to get to a video about how 10 seconds can end your life forever. And in this video, I'm going to think of two people that I have met, talked to. One of my best buddies, right? His story is kind of weird at the end part. It's unbelievable, but I'm gonna give you guys, the correct information. You can look it up. You can see all the correct stuff. It's in the news. When I was with him, he was being followed by the news, and when I left, he was just about to go to trial. And another story was a man I met when you go to reception, and these lifers come and talk to you to, they got some really good stories, man. So I'm gonna share it real quick. So I get locked up in Arapahoe, and I'm at Arapahoe County Jail, and I get moved to a medium pod, and I got kicked out of the pod. When I first started there, I didn't have that much crazy charges, just stealing, breaking into cars, stupid stuff, and tattooing. It was so dumb. Like, look at this little tattoo. Hold on. That's what you get for prison, a little pluck pluck. But jail. But so I get in this unit, and there are these two white dudes, man. They're solid and they're cool, man. This dude sits there, does not fit. Looks very, very clean cut, hella funny, man. He would have his, yeah, no weird, but you would be working, we would work out and have your shirt off, and he would have this chest there, like grew into like a Superman, bro. And I was like thinking in my head, I never asked him this, but I'm like, did he cut his hair like that? You know what I mean? Like, this dude, my boy, man, he's cool as shit. I mean, I don't know, what's going on, but I'll get into the story and get into the craziness. So I get in and start knowing dude, tell him about, you don't really talk about if you're guilty or not, but what your charges are, Dude wouldn't tell me for the longest time. We're working out every single day. We're eating together. Dude didn't have no people giving him no money. So, but he was hella cool. He was solid. And I'm going to give you the name right now. You can look it up in the news. It was Codell Lotes in Colorado DOC. And I'm going to get to this story. Wait till the end of the story before you look it up, because I'm going to tell you this crazy turn of events, man. And how 10 seconds can ruin your life forever, but has a good ending. So Codell finally gets around. We're joking about our bond. He's like, man, you gotta check out my bond. And I'm like, what do you mean? So in Arapahoe, you would call the phone, and you're just hella bored, man, So he could check it out, and it said $1 million for count one. It would explain how many bonds you have on the charges and $1 million. So if he wanted to get out of jail, he had to post $1 million bond plus $1 million bond. Homeboy was going nowhere. And I was like, what happened? What the heck are you facing life for? Like, this is crazy, man. Like, what the heck did you do? You know what I mean? He's like, I want to talk about it. So as time went on, we started getting really close, and dude was like, and I can talk about this because dude already got sentenced and something else happened, which I'm not sure. I haven't followed up with dude. So he would get to talking one day, and he was like, all right, man, so I'll kick it. So this is how this whole story came up. I'll round it up real quick. So how people would get in drugs, basically, they would swallow them with balloons and kind of poop them out. They would get caught. A lot in Colorado, they would hide them in their cheeks. And then when they would get caught, they would swallow them and bring them into the jail. No joke. So heroin and cocaine hits the pot. And Codell used to, come to find out, Codell had a very bad heroin problem. And he was like, yo, man, let's get the money. I can get some H and Coke. I was like, cool, yeah, I'm down. I'm at this time very bad drug addict. Want to get my hands on anything to get high because I am bored. Don't know why, but that sounds so good right now. So boom, I bring in prison or in jail, you can either, put some money, have your people put some money on your books, or you get food. So I came out with like $50 worth of food to get heroin. And that stuff, because you can't get a lot in there, it's charged for a lot of money. And this all rounds the story. So me and dude get high and stuff like that. And then as time goes on, I was in this pod for a while. Dude's like, I'm not getting high no more. And I'm like, what? Like, if anything hits a pod, man, you better let me know. Dude was like, already had a good thing with the Pisces. So if they knew anyone that hit the pod, they knew who to come with to sell it for, and they wouldn't get in trouble. So I was like, what? And he's like, man, that ruined my life, man. And I was like, what you mean? And dude got into his case a bit, he was like, man, so I'll tell you, man, you've been hella chill, which is not smart. You should not talk about anything, especially if you have a big high profile case and you're on the news. Don't talk to anyone. Me, I'm a solid person. I straight up look at my stuff. I did my time. I'm only talking about dude after he got out. I don't want to ruin the story, but his situation is figured out. Don't know how it happened. It's crazy. But here's the story, and you can read the news clip about Codell. So him and his parents, his parents were actually really abusive, you know what I mean, for what he was explaining. They were hella hooked on drugs and heroin, and they were basically strung out and messed up. And what he did was pretty messed up, but forgiveness, comes, especially from family. That's why, man, family is your number one, so don't burn those bridges, man. So this is what happened. So he was in his garage setting. And you can check this all out by the news clippings of Codell Lotes and Arapaho, and you can still put him in the DOC. So he was with his parents, and his mom was grabbing at him to get them drugs and get them heroin. And dude said he just lost it. 10 seconds, man. And he picked up a wrench and just busted over their head. I don't support it. I feel horrible. And one of them went to the ICU. I can check back to the story, but he basically had 2 attempted murder and assault with a deadly weapon. Almost killed his parents, right? So as we're going through this, he's getting letters, and his parents show up to court, and they're like, we don't want dude to get smoked, 23-1. We don't want him to get smoked. You know what I mean? He was hella strung up on drugs. We weren't doing the best thing, and things happen. So I would end up leaving, as me and Codell were really cool, and come to find out, he got a little bit blessed, but not really. So he got a 25 years, right, and a 15-year. So he had 40 years, and a 20-year sentence, which ran concurrent. And what happened is when you have a high-profile case and stuff, you're not going to get usual plea bargains. Like, they want to show the news that, our jail, we're taking care of criminals. Prosecution doesn't stand up for that. So his deals were like 98 years, 130 years, like nothing, like you had to take it to trial. So long story short, dude gets 40 years. I always, when I'm in a bind or I think I'm going to make stupid decisions, man, I would put in his name. And his situation could happen to anyone. You lose your temper. I don't know about beating someone in the head with like a wrench, for attempted murder, but losing our anger, get the best of us and the worst can happen. So come to find out, I always put dude's name in just to remind myself, keep doing the right thing. This can happen. Takes 10 seconds, takes one mistake. And I don't know how this happened though, man, but this is a true story. You can see his sentencing on what he got and what ended up. And I don't know how you can pull this one out, but I put in his name to remind myself this dude's got 40 years. His release is not till like 2050. Just to humble myself. Remember, I was with dude. Something could have happened to me where I could be looking at a lot of time, and I'm blessed not to be out here. I switched back to his things years later. And I look back, man, and he got 7 years in 1 year. So his 40 years changed to 8 years, which he was let out on parole. And the possibility of what I came up with is spending a lot of time with dude was that his parents didn't want their son to be taken away. They were the victims. And when you're the victims of a case, you can get charged and everything like that, but the victims really have a good peace of mind of where, if you're going to have a second chance or not. And the man never got in trouble before that. He had a little boulder or something like that for a couple of days, but was never locked up. So what I can get from it is that his parents went to bat for him. And when he put in appeals and did 8 years, they said, hey, we're going to let you out. We're going to give you one more chance. It was your own parents that stuck up for you. And when I was with dude, his parents were going all the time. And then the judge would be like, have a protective order. And they would be like, no, we want to talk to our son. You know what I mean? Like, this all happened, but we want to talk to our son. And his parents went to bat for him. And that's why I would think I have personally seen it. I've been with dude and seen a 40-year sentence, which you can look up his stuff, turned to 8 years, and the man was let out of prison. His life was gone. And man, when you see someone lose their life to jail, it's the craziest facial expression feeling that a person is gonna spend. You look at this person, and here's a quick little story. There was this really cool guy in the pod. He ran a box store basically where you get commissary and stuff like that. And dude gets called out one day. I'm like, and in jail, in prison and stuff, a dude gets called out, to leave, and he's not going. You look at it like a check-in move. Like, why is, and this dude was solid, bro. This hella, gang member, solid dude, had a store box, running the poker show. He had his hands and everything. And I was like, why the hell is dude leaving? He's like, man, just got 30 years, bro. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, why does he leave? I'm still like green at this time, not really understanding. He's like, man, when people get that sense of time and they find out they're never going to be on the outside and never ever going to see their family members again, that the jail and people get scared about what he will do. And what they do is they pull him out and put him in segregation until they go to prison because they're just afraid. And that kind of dawned on me, and I'm like, dang, yeah, that's the way you could just see is from his expression. Like the life was drained out of him, and the only thing he has left is this prison, this jail life. This is all he has, right? This man on his name, because that's all he can go by if he's gonna live okay in prison, right? Cares about more of his name than whatever you got from the store box. If you don't pay dude back, he will stab you. Plain and simple. And you're wondering, why would someone stab someone over the ramen noodles? Yes, it's over the ramen noodles, but it's over the principle. Dude has to stay around bunch people for the rest of his life. And if one dude will punk him out and say, man, I ain't paying dude, other people will be like, shoot, he ain't paying dude, I ain't paying dude. And then it's like a domino effect. And if you don't nip it in the butt right there, his whole life is going to be hell, pretty much. He's going to be known as a punk to use, and that's where he lives his whole life until he dies, until he breathes his last breath. And I know, 30 years and then whatever, but violent crimes and stuff like that usually don't get let go too early, trust me. And it's crazy because you will get stabbed over ramen noodles, but it is because of the money, but not because of the amount of money. It's because of the principle. And it's just because if you will do that to him, it doesn't stop anyone else doing something to them. So that just gets into one story. I'll give you another quick story. And so I went into, when you go into DOC, you get into this reception area, right? And this is the most craziest thing you will ever go to, right? It's like a assembly line for people that just get put down as a freaking number. You get uniforms, you get dental checked, you get all this stuff, but it's not like, you literally go through an assembly line like, boom, do you have any mental health? Nope. All right, like chicken cheek. All right, boom, you got to shave your head. Boom. Okay, yeah, they literally cut all your hair and your beard off. And you go through an assembly line, get hit with the number, get your clothes, and then that's it. You're on 24-hour lockdown. And man, this lifer came and told me a really good story, man. And, he was doing 25 to life. And real quick, just tell him about his story, man. So dude wasn't new to the game, and he was out on parole. And yes, he shouldn't have been drinking, and yes, he shouldn't have been under the influence and out there. But this is how the story went, man. And I believe in 100%, you know what I mean? Because in prison, all you have is your word. And if you're a lifer coming to tell your story, then you have no reason to lie. So the story goes like this. Dude was at a bar. Shouldn't have been out of the bar. Shouldn't have been drinking. But he was. He was with this girl. And the night comes to an end. He's pretty wasted, wants to go. And dude comes out. Another dude just randomly comes out and says something to his girl. He don't like it. And, got the prison mentality, got the toughness, like, you ain't gonna, punk me in front of my girl, talk to my girl some type of way, everything like a lot of us would be thinking, and a lot of us how we would react and how we would do something. And the story goes crazy, man. And the way his face just drained out of life when he was talking about it was crazy. So dude would go up and explain that when the man said something to him, he turned around and was like, boom, hit him. You know what I mean? And that comes from a lot from prison, because when you go to prison, when you're arguing or barking, they call it, it's a lot of talk. That means you're just, you're trying to dry snitch. You ain't trying to do nothing. You either react, act, or get acted on, So dude hits dude. Dude falls, was under the influence and hit his head, and he died. He fell some weird way and he died. Dude comes, gets arrested. Throughout the process, has nothing else to go on that, no reason. They're like, you shouldn't have hit dude. This is the consequences. You're a felon. Like, we ain't showing you no love. Like, you're getting life. You're getting 25 years. So bam, dude gets life and comes in. Dude was really cool too, man. He would just, the way he would talk about it, he's like, man, that 10 seconds, that way I turned around and reacted, changed my life forever, man. And he's like, it literally took 10 seconds for me to be outside with my girl to inside a prison cell for my life. And that stuff just hit me home, because a lot of us that get in trouble and stuff, we've done a lot of things and we get caught for, at least what I've seen a lot of the times, we don't literally get caught for everything we have done about breaking the law. But this man turned around and reacted how a lot of people would. And dude fell a funny way and hit his head and died. And he got the charges. So, all true stories, man. I'm coming with you guys 100. And I really don't care. I've gotten some decent followers. I've gotten some people. But if these stories can hit one person, one kid that literally will sit back and say, if they can just make a different decision that would alter their life to not use drugs, not react, not break the law, not rob people, and get their life thrown away. This is all worth it to me. If I spend time doing videos, if, all the people in the world can hate me, but if one person takes one thing away and uses it in their brain and changes it, it makes it all worth it to me. But just want to tell y'all thank you. My son's running in. So shout out to all y'all. I appreciate it. I'll have more content coming. I'll try to get a little bit better on the editing. Much love. This is Prison 101. Appreciate y'all.